Hello, everybody. It is Friday, September the 6th, 2024. It's time for a brand new episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, we're going to recap this year's World Championships in control line and scale.
We're going to talk about air power over at the IAC.
We've got all that and so much more coming up for you today on AMA Air. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick.
Hey, guys, I'm Lee Ray. Welcome to the show. And Matt, the summer is almost over.
It is almost, look, as someone who is a Halloween aficionado, as I like
true
to put it, we are approaching prime spooky season, and I cannot wait. The only downside is that we're getting toward the end of flying season, at least here in our area in Indiana. I know some of you guys are lucky enough to be able to fly year round, Lee, but we're not quite as lucky here in Indiana.
Oh, well, it's funny you touch on exactly what I wanted to chat with you about, which is like, the building/flying season. It's never ending, luckily never ending here in Texas, but we do have some heat waves, and we'll talk about the National Model Aviation Day where it took me out. But I got to tell you, I got to bring up a story. So for those of you who are watching, thank you for joining us in the chats. Let us know what you're building. Like, what are you working on? What's a project you've got going on? I'd like to see what you guys have in mind. Is there an event coming up? Let's start some chatter in the room. But what I wanted to chat with you about, Matt, was a frustration I'm having with a build. I got to tell you, it's like I have this P38 kit. I love P38 kits.
Of course.
I've got this one that's about 83 inches. It's a wooden ARF. But I will stop calling it an ARF because it has turned into a kit. And the instructions have been miserable, and I've sent them to my buddies, Terry and Fitz, to say, what does this mean? Parts that just can't exist in, 3 dimensions that they've drawn on a piece of paper. And I have just been racking my head over this build. And I want to hear some of the stories other people have had recently on something that as simple as trying to install a rudder servo into this, boom for this P38. And the way they have it, install servo, that's basically it. No other specs, The servo hits the cross member to mount the wing. The arm won't move. Okay. So then I was like, I take, 5-10 minutes to struggle through that. And then I decide to move the servo down. Okay. And I was like, okay, I got the servo down a little bit. I got the arm in there. I'm going to change something a little bit here. I was like, all right, I'm good to go. Now the gear doors won't close. So I was like, I don't know about you guys, but that's just one of those headaches I get. I mean, I was really hoping to have this sucker ready for an event soon, but this 6-hour build has turned into several weekends. And so, yeah, my build time is probably going to take the rest of this fall. But cross my fingers.
I'm gonna digress even further just a little bit, and to tell you that I can relate, Lee. I can relate to you in a way that I don't think you're going to expect. I've just recently, and I know this might come as a shock to a lot of people because I've probably come off as someone who's done this a lot. I've recently been introduced to the world of Lego building. And I was working on my first Lego project, which was the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
I was so glad you didn't say Millennium Falcon, but continue.
No. That's a little out of my comfort zone at this point. But I was having, if you've ever looked at the instructions of a Lego build, which this was the first time I've ever been, introduced to this. There's no words. There's nothing in there. No instructions. It's all pictures, right? It's all photos. And there are a lot of situations in there where I'm like, you know what? That picture's not clear enough. If you only had like a sentence or two to explain what you're trying to do. And so I got to the last couple of pages of this build. I'm almost done. I'm going to put the tires on, and they don't fit. And I can't understand why they won't fit under the housing. So now I have to start taking everything apart. Well, turns out I put like a couple of key components on each side on backwards.
On backwards.
So I had to take this whole thing. So I can relate in so many. Like, just give me a little bit of a description here. Is that so much to ask? That's all.
I sometimes I think adults, we overthink those parts. You're right.
Yeah.
And so on Legos, I can get flustered. But with this thing, I'm ready for the instructions to say build, plane, go fly, because that's all I got going right now. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. But we got some exciting stuff to talk about, and I'll be telling you guys about some events that I'm attending.
Yeah, absolutely. That's coming up in just a little bit. But first, we want to talk to you guys a little bit about what just got done, what just wrapped up, not just here in Indiana, but also over in Romania. So there were a couple of World Championship events that just got done. We had here in Muncie, we had the F2 World Championships for control line that were held here at the International Air Modeling Center. And we'll start by talking about those for just a second, because we had just a remarkable turnout here at the IAC. 199 pilots, plus some team managers in there as well. So well over 200 folks here on site from 30 different countries that were all here to compete in control line. And we do have some results that we wanted to share with you guys. So you see some of them there on your screen. F2A results. So F2A was for speed competition. Alexander Valashev from the U.S. and Ivan Valashev from the U.S. Took first and second place there, as you see on your screen in the individual categories. And then we had F2A for the country. The country results, the United States took the top spot there as well. France and Germany finished second and third. For F2B, which was aerobatics, we had Marco Valiera from Italy took home the first place prize. Orestes Hernandez from the United States was second place, and then Zhu Letong from China was third place in individuals. And then for the female category, we had going on in F2B, we had Liu Zhang from China ended up taking the top spot there. It was always great to see some females competing there in F2B aerobatics. And then we also had the junior category with Zhu Letong was the top scoring junior from China. And then second place was Gabriel Alamov from the United States. So it was good to see the United States on the podium for the juniors. F2B overall country results. China took the top spot there. United States took second place, and Japan third. So F2C, which is team racing, individual results there. First place went to Poland, Mariusz Fedan, and Wojciech Lasiuk from Poland again. And then France took second and third place in the F2C individual category. And F2C country results, France took the top spot, Poland in second, and the United States in third. F2D individual, which is combat, we had Finland, Jussi Fors and Timo Fors in Finland took home the top spot there. We had the United States coming in third, so they made the podium with Austin Miner and Carrie Miner. Denmark took the second place spot there. And the junior category, the United States took the first place there. Austin Miner and Carrie Miner there on the top of the podium for the junior.
I just love that photo. You know, Austin's got the flag. Like, that'd be me. Hello, I'm right here.
Peeking over the top. And then, of course, for F2D country results, the Team USA took home the first place prize for combat at the World Championships. Finland and Denmark took second and third, respectively. So the other World Championships we had going on was out in Romania. This was F4 World Championships for scale model aircraft, and we do have the results from that. So for F4B, we had the United States taking home the overall country win there. Poland was second, and it looks like Romania was third. Yes. And so congratulations to Team USA for taking that top spot there. And some individual placements for our United States competitors. Pete Bauer was first place in F4B. We had fifth place for Mike McHenry in his Piper L4 Grasshopper, and Alan Goff took sixth place with his Newport 17. And eighth place was Tim Dickey with his Waco UEC Cabin. So congratulations to all those guys. We had F4H.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. F4H for Team USA. Ben Andrus with his Grumman G164 was 13th. John Buckley in his Fairchild 24R was 14th. In Michael Barbie, Hawker Fury MK1 was what he was flying. He finished 19th in F4H. And there you have it. Those are your results for the World Championships, both the F2 and the F4 World Championships that happened just over the last month since we've been talking, or since the last time we've spoken. Both of those competitions have gone on, and it's been a really great showing for Team USA. So we're all really proud of those guys and how well they represented the U.S.
Congrats.
Absolutely. Something else that happened over the course of this last month was National Model Aviation Day. Of course, that happened just back on August the 17th. And that is, we hold Model Aviation Day every year. It's a chance for our clubs and our entire community to really get out and share model aviation with their community, with their family, their friends, etc., to hold events. And it's been always a great time seeing what everybody does and how everybody celebrates Model Aviation Day. Lee, what did you do anything special for National Model Aviation Day?
Well, obviously you didn't listen to our last.
I'll tee that story up for you.
You obviously didn't listen to our last podcast for RC Roundtable, but it was just brutally hot, and both Fitz and I just there's no way we're going outside. It must have been 109 with 150 in the shade, because I stepped out. It was I might get a UMX out on the in my cul-de-sac. But it was just brutal. And, some people had, I wanted to mention this because if you guys are following other clubs on Facebook or their website, some clubs had bad weather. And so they've rescheduled it. So I just want to remind people that Model Aviation Day is something to celebrate, obviously on that day. But if you have to reschedule, go out and enjoy it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We've always encouraged clubs that wanted to hold a Model Aviation Day event. We'd love it if you hold it on the actual Model Aviation Day, but we also recognize that everybody's got different schedules that they have to try to work around and that sort of thing. And you can really celebrate National Model Aviation Day any day of the year.
Every day is
National Model Aviation Day. So yeah, if weather was a problem, it's always acceptable to move that to a different day. And certainly, I know it was hot in Texas. Believe it or not, it was pretty warm here as well. We were having a bit of a heat wave ourselves, so I can empathize with you a little bit, Lee.
Well, I hope many of you got to celebrate it. The AMA Foundation, on their website, amafoundation.modelcraft.org, you can go there and you can pull up this little page here, and there's some links in there to go see several of the stories they've received from either websites or Facebook links to talk about the club's experience. Again, it was just brutally hot. I wanted to be able to come back for an AMA Air. I didn't want people to find me, sitting in a lump at my club, because it was just too hot. But I will say, like you said earlier, every day is Model Aviation Day. I hope you guys get to go out there and enjoy it, and I hope you guys share that information. And in this link here, it says if you do have photos to share, there is a link you can click on that page to share that with the foundation, and we'll get those photos out.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on, I wanted to recognize a comment that I meant to mention this during our recap, and I completely walked right past it. Peter B., I'm assuming that might just be Peter Bauer, said that this is the first time the U.S. has competed in F4 for scale model aircraft since 2010, which that's incredible that we had that type of result after that much time away from that competition. So again, huge congrats to Team USA out there in Romania for that competition. And thanks for reminding me of that, Peter. I appreciate you sharing that. Well, of course, we mentioned, it's starting to get toward the end of flying season here in my neck of the woods here in Indiana. So we've got just a few events left here at the IAC, but one of the last big events of the year, every year, seems to be an event that at one point in time we called the Indiana Warbird campaign. It is now changed hands and is kind of shifted a little bit. It's a very similar event, but it's got a new name. This is the second year for Air Power over the IAC, and it is a celebration of all types of warbirds. It's one of my favorite events, if I'm being perfectly honest. That's the one that when it happens, like I know I've got to get out and go watch. And the detail of some of these aircraft is just incredible. So we actually put together a short little video to tell you guys a little bit about Air Power over the IAC and some of the cool things that they do there. So we're going to throw to that package right now. We'll see you guys out on the other side. Air Power over at IAC. Of course, you can go to rcairpower.com to learn more about that event. It was, and they had great weather for this event also last weekend as well. Lee, I know Warbirds have a really big chunk of your heart too.
They go together, right?
You see that? It's all full circle.
Those of you missed it.
I love these Warbird events. I think they're so cool. I think a lot of us that are in this hobby, Warbirds are just a fascinating thing to watch, and they look so good in the air. I know you probably feel the same way about that.
Well, I think any type of aircraft is great, but I think the nice thing about Warbirds is that we're keeping them alive. I mean, there's a lot of them have been destroyed, and a lot of people are bringing them back. You saw Greg Hahn's large scale model there, that multi-engine. The name escapes me, but he does amazing work. And Tony Stillman, the CD, who's formerly with AMA, but he was out there, and I got to chat with him, and he did mention it was a little hot now and then, which kind of surprised me. I mean, I was looking at the calendar; it was like 60 something at one point for you guys, but I mean,
there were big swings in the day. I have to admit, there were big swings.
Yeah, but it's great. I haven't had a chance to attend that one, but it's on my bucket list.
Yeah. Well, of course, you guys, if you want to hold an event at the IAC, there is a way for you to do that. If you can go to modelaircraft.org, we've got a calendar there where you can see what events are on the schedule if you want to attend one. But Lee, there are also ways that if you want to hold one at the IAC, you can do that. Is that right?
Well, yes. It's open for you guys. Like, obviously, the calendar I'm showing right now tells you that we're very busy out there. If there's a site available, people like to use it. There are many rocketry events there. My good friend Scott Black, he's got an event coming up for balsa flyers. So if you live in the area or not too far and you want to host an event there, you can email our buddy Yolanda. And I don't know if I have her. It's Yolanda J. So if you can put that up for me, Bryce. There you go. But if you have an interest to see if you can host an event at the IAC, any time of year, let us know. Email Yolanda. She'll get your information, and we'll see if we can squeeze an event in, because this site is yours. It's for Absolutely. Our members. And so I've had the joy of being there for Camp AMA and the National Fun Fly and NATS. It's an amazing site, and I'm sure, like you said, Bryce, that material you just did of the Air Power over IAC was great. If you want to have a host an event out there, please do so. Go look at the calendar and see if you can fit something in that slot.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we're pretty busy through the summer during the Nats, months, but there's a whole lot of time on either side of that where we can be hosting all sorts of events. And of course, if you want to host an event, there's a way for you to do that. So thank you for sharing that information.
We host the eclipse there. By
We
golly, I
did.
can't.
If we can host the eclipse there, we can host anything, right?
Tons of stuff there. Yes.
Well, Lee, speaking of events, I know you've got a couple events on your calendar, both of which are near and dear to your heart. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those and how
They're
you're planning to
okay.
attend?
They're okay events. One's only been around for 36 years.
Is that it?
Yeah. This is the 36th gathering of the B-17s and Big Bird Fly-In at Bomber Field, USA. If you've been on this show, if you've watched the show many times, I've talked about it. It's also on our podcast. We talk about it. Fitz and I attend almost every year. Terry, when he lived in Texas, we used to go a lot. I've been going since I was a kid. But this is a great event for large, giant scale aircraft. I mean, usually we promote B-17s. We like to see a lot. I think the best year I've ever seen, we had like seven large B-17s flying in formation. That was a gorgeous day. And it's just a blast. So it's in 2 weeks. Again, bomberfieldusa.com is the website. It's in Monteville, Texas. Would love to see you guys there. So that's in 2 weeks. And then I won't forget to plug one of my favorite events. This is an all-electric event. This is in New Waverly, Texas. It's called Best Electrics in South Texas. It's the first weekend in October. I go there, set my tent up, and then I'm getting in a chair and I'm spending my whole weekend there. My family knows I'm there. When I started working for the AMA, I said, by the way, I won't be available the first weekend in October. It's just, that's where I'm at. And I think a lot of you out there have those events that you go to that, they're just special to you. And this is one of them. So I'm so glad it's coming back. And I hope you guys, if you're in this area, in Texas in general, that you consider either coming to Bomber or coming to Best.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to hearing more about those events after you've visited and after you've got some nice stories to share from those events.
Well, and I'm hoping we've done it before. If you go to our Facebook page, you will see that I have posted several event photos from Bomber just to make a gallery there. We try to do stuff live there. There's no Wi-Fi, so signal's iffy, but whatever I can, I'll record and share with you guys. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of a lot of fun, we have reached that part of the show where it's time to talk about the brand new Club of the Month. Now this one for the month of September. Lee, what do we got in store this month for our Club of the Month?
Well, for those of you probably feeling the nice cooler weather in Maryland, our club this month, over 50 years. It started in the 50s, so we're almost closing into the 75th year, if I think about it. The Radio Control Models of Baltimore, they've got this nice little club. I grabbed this photo. They just recently resurfaced their runway, so that's always cool. See these guys work together and improve their site. They've got a clubhouse. They've got covered pits, electricity, great large parking. And another thing we want to share with our friends out there, our members who are looking for clubs, who might have unfortunately lost a field because the farmer wants the land for crops or something, or it's just new buildings. This is on a former landfill. And we have a lot of clubs that have been staged on landfills that have closed down. There's one in Texas that I visited a couple of years ago. So again, once they're closed and they top them off, they're done. They're not going to do anything with them. It is a perfect spot for a model airplane site. So
we've got one just down the road in Danville, Indiana, that are good friends of ours. So the Black Sheep Squadron. So there's tons of clubs that do that.
Just an option to throw it out there. So check with your city, your county, talk to people, find the parks department, find out if there's land that's just not being utilized or is not, popular for, say, walkers or joggers and so forth. But congratulations to them because they've been there for a long time. And I'll just say, you guys have a party next week. It looks like it's their annual family gathering. So I hope you guys have a good time. But congratulations, Gold Leader Club, for being September Club of the Month.
Fantastic. We love to see it. And of course, guys, we also like to talk about our iFly AMA Facebook group. If you guys have not yet joined our iFly AMA Facebook group, all you got to do is go to facebook.com/groups/iFly AMA. You're going to answer a couple of questions so we make sure you're not a robot. Lee's going to check that out and say, yeah, you're not a robot. Come on in, hang out with us and have some fun. And one of the cool things we do every single month is we take submissions from all of you out in the Facebook group to become our cover photo for the month. And we've got a brand new cover photo to announce for the month of September. And Lee, why don't you tell us about who we've got that gracing us on the cover photo this month?
Well, we were talking about Warbirds, and the gentleman who photographed this was also the photographer for Air Power over IAC. This is John Cease's A1 Skyraider. It is 100-inch, has a 100-inch wingspan. What I think is really cool is it has a gear reduction drive set up in there. So that thing turns a 4-bladed 24-inch prop on 12 cells and a 300 amp ESC. So that thing's got a little bit of power. It probably takes off vertically off of like a rocket launch pad.
What is the thrust ratio on that?
I have no idea, but I'll ask John to see if he's done any pull tests or something. Because man, that's pretty crazy.
Wow.
But and the reason he won is because people voted on his photos. So if you go in and you sign up and you click on that featured post at the top of the iFly AMA group, add your photos and see if people like it. If they do, they're going to click like or give you a comment, and we will go through them all and choose a winner. So congratulations, John, for being selected, and looking forward to seeing. And actually, since I posted this, we've already had a whole bunch of new photos come in. And I will say, I want to reach out to you, Matt, to say it was nice that this kid who happened to see the group, he actually emailed me photos going, hey, can you add me to the list? And I was like, oh no, I'll get you in the Facebook group, so yeah. Nice that people are seeing these and wanting to share their photos. And he had some great photos of his aircraft. So crossing my fingers that he might win this month.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to see that. Well, guys, again, if you want to be part of the conversation and maybe submit your photo to be selected as the cover photo for the month, all you got to do is go to facebook.com/groups/iFlyAMA, and there'll be a pinned comment or pinned post rather up at the top that you can comment on and submit your photos there. We look forward to seeing all of those every month. There's always so many great photos to see.
Yeah. Don't be a bot though.
But please don't be a robot. We don't like the robots.
I've been fighting bots lately, so please don't be a bot.
Well, one of the last things we want to talk about briefly before we let you all get back to your Friday afternoon is to let you know about the National Model Aviation Museum and their schedule. We are getting close to the time of year when the museum closes down for the winter. So if you are in the central Indiana area and you haven't had a chance to visit the National Model Aviation Museum, you have just a few more short weeks rather to change that for 2024. The museum is still open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that will be the case through September the 29th. So on September 30th, the museum will close for the remainder of the year. So you've got just, a few more weeks to check out the Model Aviation Museum. There's some really great exhibits in there. And I know some really cool things are in store for 2025 when we reopen. So again, if you're in the central Indiana area and you haven't had a chance to visit that yet, I would encourage you to make that a part of your travel plans if you're still going to be here in the next month or so. Lee, do you have anything else that you want to add?
But wait, there is more.
There is more.
There is more. So some of you may have been aware of a build contest we had last year. October is our build month, and we have often done a lot of tips and shown other people's builds. And last year we requested those people to, hey, let's see if we can find a winner to actually start a build last year and bring it around full circle this year. Well, the submission ends, or to the ending for your submission is September 15th. And so that's coming up in just a little over a week. And so if you guys have started your project and you're wrapping it up, make sure you email me. You can go to this blog post on modelaircraft.org/blogs. And you can pull this one up. I don't have the link handy. I'll try to see if I can quickly do this. Let's see how fast I can add this into the comments. And I'll ask my buddy Bryce to do that for me. And so you can follow with me, and we'll pick a winner. We'll share that with you guys next month, but we'll also have lots of tips to share. This year, I'm probably just going to be asking a lot of people what they're working on. Maybe just can do some show and tell this year, and then reach out to some of you guys and ask you, what kind of problems do you have? Is it electronics? Is it programming? See if we can find a solution for you in our build month. So look forward to seeing that next month, and Matt and I will follow up when we have our next AMA Air.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody's been working on over the last year. You know, those long-term projects are so interesting to me because I have such a short attention span. I'll work on something for like a week, and then squirrel, I'm off to something else. So whenever I see people that have been able to dedicate, long-term time to projects like this, it's always fascinating to watch, and the detail that gets put into it and all that sort of stuff. So I'm excited to see what you guys submitted. So be sure to get them in.
All right.
Well, Lee, I think that just about does it for this month's episode of AMA Air. I want to thank all you guys at home for watching. If you're watching live, thank you so much. It would help us greatly if you would leave a like down below and share it with your friends. If you're watching after the fact, same thing goes for you. Leave us a like down there and leave us a comment too. Let us know what events you're going to this month, and maybe what stuff you're building too, and what you're planning on building over the winter. We're really excited to hear about that sort of stuff. So, Lee, any parting words from you before we sign off?
Just wish me luck back to my P-38 build.
I do wish you luck on your P-38 build. I'm excited to see that too.
Send it all.
Well, thank you guys so much. If you're not yet a member of the Academy of Model Aeronautics, we'd love it if you go check us out. You can head over to modelaircraft.org/join to learn more about the AMA, and we hope to see you join us as a part of our family very, very soon. And for all of us here at the AMA, we want to thank you so much for watching this month's episode of AMA Air. Until next time, we'll see you later, and happy flying.